If you try to ignore the material aspects, you can't continue the spiritual process. I'm inside the ashram, so I'm one way, and I'm outside the ashram, so I'm another way. I don't want that thing in my mind at all. When I was in the campus, I told myself the same thing, that though this is ISR campus, to me, this is my ashram. Because it's not that I don't have a family. It's not that my family doesn't have needs. Now I turned spiritual, I just come here and things are done. Not like that. For whatever role I have to play that. And the spiritual aspect, both somewhere are, they should go hand in hand, I would say. Let's say I'm having a conversation with my mom. I don't want to approach that conversation with a fixed mindset that I've already concluded that this is the right thing and I'll go and demolish whatever she has to say. And that is not the way it has ever worked. I'm here at staff, so I'm kind of attending to their understanding of I should be financially secure and provide them support also. At the same time, I'm able to stay in the ashram, live in the ashram. So it didn't go either of us ways. The mindset or the approach is they immediately want to go to, let's say they enter engineering program. At the end of the 4 years, how they gauge the program is what is my package. So the whole mindset is how can I get more, how can I have this more, or something like that, which I feel is largely influenced by like very rudimentary mindset of if you have more, you will be fulfilled.
Yes.
And it's not the case. You see people who are extremely rich, you see people who are extremely successful, and I personally don't see them equally happy or anything like that, which is one of the main contributions that the foundation is making. Like if you just sit through the simple course of inner engineering, if you just do the online sessions, just 2-3 days you will feel it. To have something that powerful and without any physical proximity, what goes into it is unimaginable.
Man is not obsessed with money. Man is obsessed with what money can buy. It's not the money that they want, the empowerment that the money gives you, isn't it? It is just a means. Is something right or wrong about it? Nothing right or wrong about it. If you were in the slum with no money in your pocket, today you wouldn't be sitting here doing Shambhavi Mahamutra, isn't it? You would be just struggling to keep that house going, or building a boat to float inside your house. Something like that, isn't it? Because you got a little money in your pocket, today you can sit here no matter it's raining, it's going to flood. If it floods, it's okay, we'll stay in the hotel. Because there's little money in your pocket, this much freedom, isn't it so? There's no money at all in your pocket, this wouldn't be possible. So nothing wrong with money. Money in your pocket is good if it stays in the pocket. If it enters your head, it becomes a perversion.
So I feel that was one thing that before I make any long-term commitments, or before it is easy to be swept away by whatever is going on around you. So that became very important for me because I give a damn about my own life, okay? It's not like you have to earn this much, so you go and do it, or you are good at this, so you go and do it. But what is it adding to this life? What is it adding to people around me, or whatever the work I am doing? There are like multiple aspects. One is, do you have the skill to do something? You may have the skill, but you may not have the drive which will take you through the process. It might feel like, okay, I'm not feeling very inclined, but I'm supposed to do it. It's my job, I'll do it. I didn't want to end up in such positions. Say I join a particular institution, then knowingly or unknowingly, what you're saying is, since you're aligning yourself with that institution, you're basically promoting whatever that institution is doing.
So I really like that approach. I'm wondering, how did you transition from focusing on personal growth to dedicating yourself to others' well-being?
So when I'm listening to this statement of transition from personal grow to someone else's well-being, others' well-being. I don't think these two are different things. Firstly, say I've seen many people, I've talked to even people very close to me. If I'm not happy, I'm not going to be able to make you happy. It's as simple as that. If I'm thinking that I'm making the world a beautiful place and I'm not that, I'm not experiencing that beauty, it's a joke. It's a lie that you're telling to yourself. It doesn't work like that. When you say my well-being, you can't sustain your well-being if your surrounding is not well. You can say my well-being and go around things, but then your surroundings is somewhere else. It will take you down one way or the other. And it's the same goes like it. If your surrounding is supportive, if I am having a bad day, someone comes and gives me a pat on my back, my day changes dramatically, right? Especially when it comes to work. See, I am working on something. There's one aspect of personal fulfillment that I am putting my mind to it. I'm able to use whatever I'm capable of doing. And at the same time, there's another aspect of impact of the work that I'm doing. So I feel I need both. Some people are fine with only one, and I have no problem with it. But if I'm doing the work, it is my responsibility to make sure that this work is also impactful. And if it is not, what are the changes that I need to make? So let's say my approach is a bit uh, sometimes brutal or harsh or something like that. It is my responsibility to change it. I mean, maybe I'm confident, maybe I understand things, but if I'm trying to convey, I'm expressing myself, what the audience is receiving is also up to me, and because I want them to receive it as well, right? That is one thing I find in Sadhguru is very this thing. People do say that when he's talking, or the multiple times that he's expressing things in different ways, because he's not answering the question, he's not even looking at the question, he's answering the person who is asking the question, and looking at where the person is coming from and what the person needs at that moment. That may not be applicable at any other moment, that may not be applicable to some other individual in some other situation. So this, just like he says, YouTube thing is like an entertainment thing, uh, to kind of entice you into something else. You go and try it yourself, only then if it works for you, you keep it. If it doesn't, you walk away. I feel, again, I would just put a note in here initially that it's not necessary that everyone has to do Sadhanapada, or everyone has to come to ashram to experience whatever Isha has to offer. Or And this has been one of the skeptic points for me too before entering the ashram, because I didn't want to think in those terms that I'm inside the ashram so I'm one way, and I'm outside the ashram so I'm another way. I don't want that thing in my mind at all. For whatever reasons, the drive was such that I anyway went and came for Sadhanapada. But yeah, again, coming back to this point of trying to address people around you, or trying to convince them to get things done your way, I that's how I would literally put it. But yeah, it's also important to understand where they're coming from and why they are saying what they are saying. So it was important for me at that time to understand where my parents are coming from, and I understood that, and I respected whatever they had to say. And it's not like I have a very rich family or something like that, so these concerns will be there. If I'm leaving the family, they still have to support me financially. And at this age, I feel I am like supposed to earn or build savings and then go for it, or something like that, right? So in 2021 January, I found a local hatha yoga teacher. I learned Angamardana. In the same year, in June, July, I learned Surya Kriya. Like that, periodically learning new programs, taking my practices ahead. And um, uh, hatha yoga teacher, she has been pretty, that Akka has been very supportive. I remember one statement that she made when I was not able to go for Sadhanapada, and so she said, "Your Sadhanapada is on. Guru decides the place and timing." And that statement stayed with me. And when I was in the campus, I told myself the same thing, that though this is ISR campus, to me this is my ashram, and my PI is my guru or whatever. So I feel it's up to the individual. And it's not that you need to be somewhere or you need to do something to be in touch with what we refer to as Sadhguru. It's just that you have to allow it to happen to you too. I feel the first and foremost thing is to, let's say I'm having a conversation with my mom. I don't want to approach that conversation with a fixed mindset that I've already concluded that this is the right thing and I'll go and demolish whatever she has to say and I'll throw my things on her. That is not the way it has ever worked. And it will not. And if you go into the conversations which feel uncomfortable in the beginning and you already know that people have made up their minds, but if you go into it without a fixed mindset, you don't know what the outcome will be. If it goes this way, it's fine. If it goes that way, it's fine. But you go into it and you get involved with the conversation. You want to understand where the other person is coming from and why is that concern there. So they also feel like they are being hurt too. Your experience of life enhances because you were totally blind to those things. The very reason that you're fighting is you're somewhere unaware of other aspects of life itself. There is nothing to fight here. I mean, what can you have against anything happening here? Nothing at all. I mean, it's just a joke. So if you're entering any conversation which feels uncomfortable, you can give yourself to the conversation and try to understand what the other person, what is the thing that they're trying to convey. And if you understand that, you will be able to sometimes do something about it, sometimes not do anything about it. That is up to you, right? Like, that's why I asked from whose perspective do you want to look at it, because if you look at it from their perspective, and happily in my case, somewhere I always tend to find the middle way. So I'm here at staff, I'm kind of attending to their understanding of I should be financially secure and provide them support also, and at the same time I'm able to stay in the ashram, live in the ashram. So it didn't go either of us ways. I wanted to be a purnanga and just be here, and they wanted me to go and earn a living and build savings and things, and I understand that that is also important. So I consider really fortunate, myself really fortunate that things are still in line and I'm able to still find expression to my passion for the subject maths which I had. There is no one in the world who has received perfect parenting, perfect upbringing. There is no such thing as a perfect surrounding that you can get, and we have to be in touch with the ground reality when it comes to transactions, when it comes to external situations. There are factors that need to be taken into consideration and they need to be addressed. This goes to saying that, say, when I say I'm spiritual doesn't mean materialistic aspects of my life are just evaporated. Pretty much the same as when I say I'm a mathematician doesn't mean that gravity doesn't apply on me, because gravity is a physics topic. Or psychology is not applicable to me. I'm still a person, okay? There's no denying of any different perspective towards life, but it's important to both understand that everything that is there is a part of life. It is not outside of life. And another thing of, there is a role for me to play. So that part is totally mine. So how I say the same thing is, yes, certain situations were there. I tackled them in a certain way and I never went beyond it. So each situation it was up to me. Either I could have used it and gone beyond it. That for the situation, if it is needed, I was in a certain way. After the situation went away, I came back to who I am. But this approach, this mindset of saying that, okay, no, this happened in my life, from then I'm like this, I don't encourage that, because first thing is, for what I am doing, I am not taking charge of that. And you want consequences of actions of so many people. How is that possible? First, at least take accountability for your own actions. I can understand that if I am doing something, it's not working, I can take responsibility for it. How can I say the world should be conscious if I'm not even willing to do this? Or this dilemma that came up even recently, and like I also told you that I wanted to join as a Purnanga, but for whatever reason I wasn't able to make up my mind. Because it's not that I don't have a family, it's not that my family doesn't have needs, and there's no situations. Now I turned spiritual, I just come here and things are done. Not like that. For whatever role I have to play, I have to play that. And the spiritual aspect, both somewhere are, they should go hand in hand, I would say. Because if you try to ignore the material aspects, you can't continue the spiritual process. If I come and mess up your surrounding, there's no way you can sit and meditate. That much is clear. So yeah, and not just survival, both things about creating a conducive atmosphere, having that readiness, having that approach, and maintaining that. And it takes a lot of effort, and of which again I'll come back to the point of yeah, importance or significance of a place like Isha Foundation, or some plans that are coming up of Yogic City and all. It becomes very important, because say I am somewhere else, I have never seen this, I have never thought about this. How will I go and pursue this or think that this is even possible? It's, these are living models, these are live examples. You go and you know how it works. Wherever you go back, you can do the same.